Hi there, it's me again, your Lavanya. Today we are going to discuss about the next verse in Unmai vilakkam, which is verse number 42. Verse number 42 gives us a clarity about how to pronounce or what kind of a mantra that we need to utter in order to get realization. So let's look at the verse. Annal Mudhalaa அழகார் எழுத்து அஞ்சும் எண்ணி இராப்பகல் அற்று இன்பத்தே நண்ணி அருளானது சிவத்தே ஆக்கும் அணுவை இருளானது தீர இன்று. Today's verse is actually a very insightful verse. What happens when you start saying Sivaya Nama? That is the content for today's verse. When you start saying Sivaya Nama continuously after getting initiation in the path of Saivam, which is basically we call it as Dika, once you get the Dika, you start getting the mantra called as Sivaya Nama. Once you start pronouncing, uttering the mantra Sivaya Nama, what happens within us? There are three, we have already seen, there are three things that is tying this life down. Soul is tied by three different varieties. It's something like knots, three strong knots. What are these three strong knots? We have seen Arnavam, Kanmam, which is Kamma, and Maya. These are the three which is tying us down. Now when you look at it, which knot is stronger than the other and which one can be made something that is getting loose and moving away from us? If you look at it, the knot which is called as Maya is the most easiest to be removed from us, because we know once one point or the other we will come to know, or we will get the realization whatever we are seeing around us, including this body, nothing belongs to us. We will get a realization that nothing is ours, nothing belongs to us. That is when we will get a realization the Maya is not us. So the first knot is gone off. The second one is karma. When you talk about karma, that's the second knot which can also untie by itself after a while. After we get bored of this life, once you know how many rebirths I have taken, enough is enough, I need to get away from this, we will stop even making a good or a bad karma, we will stop. That is what we call it as karma. When you talk about the third one, which is Anava, ignorance, that will never go away from the soul. This knot is going to be there forever. It is something like a curtain in front of us. Now we need to understand what kind of curtain we have in front of us. Is it an iron curtain or is it a muslin cloth curtain? For people who have already realized their life and attaining realization, they still have Anava, but it is in the form of a muslin cloth, something like a muslin cloth. People who have shed away their Maya, but they are still with Kamma, for them they also have this curtain, but it is made of thick cloth. Whereas for people like us, when we are in this worldly affairs, when we are 100% in this earth, belonging to this earthly affairs and all these, for us the curtain is made out of steel. So you can imagine there is a curtain in front of us, but what is the thickness, what is the intensity of the curtain? Is it an iron curtain or it's a muslin cloth curtain? That's it. But we don't need to go into the discussion, we don't need to do a special R&D to say whether we have Anava or not. Obviously we have, because if we don't have Anava, we would have gotten realization and we would have shed this life long back. The matter of fact that I'm sitting physically in front of you and giving a talk means that we have Anava. When you are there sitting and listening to my talk, obviously you have Anava. You don't need to go and do a research saying that, hey, do you have Anava? Do I have Anava? It's a waste. It's a simple waste of time and energy, because the reality is just in front of us. Yes, we do have it. Now, what is the level? What is the intensity? That's all we can see. That is where the solution that is given to us is start uttering the mantra called as Sivaya Nama. Once we start talking about the mantra called as Sivaya Nama, we will slowly start shedding away this life. We will start slowly shedding away this. Then we will get into a state. We will not have darkness, we will not have bright sunlight as well. Why? Because the analogy is very simple. When we are in a state called as kevala nile, kevalam means where it is full of darkness, and when we take a birth like what we are right now, this is called as day. We will get into a situation where it is neither night nor day. We will get into a state which is ever blissful, and we will always be in the feet of Lord Shiva. And that is what our verse number 42 talks about, and that emphasizes that we should start uttering the mantra Sivaya Nama after getting the initiation. At least one thing we can be happy about is we have taken the initiation, we have identified that we have this cancer which is called as Arnava, we have identified the disease, we have identified the intensity of the disease, and we have started taking the medicine which is called as Sivaya Nama mantra. Once we start taking this medicine, depending on the intensity of the cancer, one day or the other, sure we will be relieved from this. That is what verse number 42 gives us a clarity about. Again, I'll come back again with the next verse very soon. Until then, bye bye.